There's no nice way to put this. We just witnessed hundreds of Democratic leaders comply because this is what Democrats do. It's part of who we are. And changing it is going to require some tough love, which starts right now. Feel free to 2x. First, let's just say this out loud. Our empathy is our superpower, and we should not apologize for it. We listen to our emotions, we recognize where they're coming from, and then we open ourselves up and we create vulnerabilities so that we can connect with other people. This is what the best of us do. But do you know what the worst of us do? They see those vulnerabilities as weakness. Patience, pacifism, empathy, thoughtfulness, they're all just code words for weak, and weak people comply. MAGA Republicans are not aching to understand the progressive community. The best of them see us as weak and indecisive. And the worst of them? They see an open invitation to walk into our homes and our communities and destroy what we love most. But this destruction, it requires compliance, either given or taken. Too much anymore what I see from Democratic leaders, and they aren't freely giving out compliance. They're just letting it happen anyway, calling it a continued search for understanding or bipartisanship. But when somebody walks into your government and they start destroying things that they may not even have the legal right to destroy, you don't meet them halfway, but it's almost like we don't know any better, which is why right now we need a sharp understanding of what it means to comply in advance so we can stomp it out for good. Compliance in advance is not just anticipating orders and following them. It's discussing or even entertaining compliance. It's letting your opposition know in advance that you would prefer pacifism. It's allowing yourself to acclimate to the feeling of defeat out of emotional self-preservation, even though winning is the only option on the table. It's asking permission when permission is not required, and it's apologizing when no apology is warranted. It's all those intrusive thoughts and comments like, he'll never leave the White House. He's just going to do whatever he wants. We have a dictator now. We won't have another election. Look at it this way. We understand we are locked in a battle with the worst of American beliefs and people. But this isn't our first rodeo, not in this country. And when you look at the long list of battles we've had, the people fighting for the best in us always win in the end. Which means if we have not won, it is not yet the end. In this war with the worst of us right now, we are not in a phase where a decisive win is sitting there on the table. We are in the trenches, and it is going to take months to see results. But when you're fighting those little battles of awareness, of influence, of conviction, those are battles that can be won. Let's look no further than the town halls. It's not people sitting with paddles quietly winning. It's people who refuse to shut up and sit down when it matters most. And we need that energy desperately, because every single day that we allow to pass without a fight, MAGA Republicans grow bolder in their exploitation. Just ask yourself, back in 2021, were MAGA Republicans saying, I feel so defeated, I hate this timeline, Joe Biden is our ruler now? Hell no. They were locking down for the next battle. This is why I will not be spending my time or energy normalizing the idea that Donald Trump might or could or will ignore the law. Trump will ultimately obey the law because he must obey the law. Now, I'm no different from you. I hate how we got here. But how we got here was not an accident. They willed it into existence. We're here because senators elected by MAGA voters voted against conviction, because the Supreme Court unanimously agreed Trump belonged on every state ballot, and because 75 million Americans were intentionally misled, misinformed, and duped into believing that a billionaire oligarch was better than a black woman. In other words, we got here legally. How it was done was certainly not what our founders had in mind, but it happened anyway because they defined a living system subject to influence and interpretation, and completely dependent on the people who swore oaths to execute it faithfully. The United States is not just a stack of papers, it is us. It's what we are doing right now. And what is happening right now is not happening to us. It's happening with us and through us. This is a real battle. It's in Congress, it's in the White House, it's in front of Tesla factories, it's in town halls across the country, it's in our news feeds, and it's even in our heads. And when we win, it's because we fought and won the battles that mattered most. I hate that it happened this way. And I hate that those people were able to manifest this existence for all of us. But when you realize that they were able to will it into existence, you realize we can do the opposite. And that's the silver lining. The path forward always exists. Everything that they have done can be undone, because our Constitution still stands, and the living system it described still stands too. The only question for us is whether that system is going to benefit the best and the most of us or the worst and the least of us. I know my choice, and I know I will do everything possible to manifest it into existence, because to me it's the only choice for the United States. In that sense, it's nothing more and nothing less than another battle in that long list of key battles that the best of us must win. How long it takes and how bad it gets, that's an open question, dependent heavily on what we do next. For me, part of that is bristling, defiant noncompliance.